Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the Daily SPY Report for Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. Before I jump into the charts, just want to encourage you to click like if you like what you're seeing and subscribe. Subscribing to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel will provide you notifications each and every day, each and every time the Daily SPY Report has been uploaded for your viewing. It typically goes out by 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, Chicago, each and every trading day for the next trading day. Let's take a look at the charts. Once again, I like to start long-term to remind you of the big picture and then work my way in. Long-term, no denying that we remain bullish by one measure above 422.98. I don't expect to see that channel bottom anytime soon, but we could trade inside that zone. We could even fall off from long-term resistance at 474.78, a trend line we tested last week, rallied to within 0.5% of, tested it prior to that in early September, backed off nicely. So we have tested it again. We can fall off from here midterm, possibly through the rest of the year. There's no clear indication of that. I can get into that in just a moment. How far south might we fall? Well, I think the 437.71 intermediate channel bottom is realistic by the end of December, perhaps. But once again, no clear sell signal per se. That would come if we close below this formation. I'll zoom in here so you can see it better at 464.52 to 464.65, rising at a pretty good clip. This is a combination rising 1/3 speed line and rising channel bottom. Both are projected off that low October area. The speed line is projected off the actual low itself. They are both trend defining in a sense. Both can contain weekly selling pressures, and above which we should continue testing that 474.78 long-term trend line that we tested last week. If we were to close, though, today, for instance, below 464.52, I think we've got a good high for November, possibly through December. We should then, over the following, I'm going to say 3 to 5 weeks, fall back to that 437.71 midterm channel bottom. On the way down, the 453.19 to 54.05 area, nothing more than the September high, and the September high settlement would become, I think, still a 3 to 5 day target. Although as we continue pulling away from it with that channel bottom at 464.52, the timing of that needs to stretch out a bit. So it was just 1 to 3 days last week. Now it's more like 3 to 5. And as we continue into later week, closing below that 464.52 formation would then indicate a 1 to 2 week downside target at 453.19 to 54.05, where we could get a nice bounce, possibly for a week itself or less. In fact, I think that area is very susceptible to being violated to the downside, of closing below 464.52. I think there's decent chances for a bit of a washout, a sell-off, where a lot of the longs that have come in the last few weeks will get shaken out down to 437.71. If you're reluctant to play that 464.52 settlement below, then I think your next opportunity would be a settlement below 453.19. And then you've got kind of a 2 to 3 week objective at 437.71. So that's all big picture. Let's take a look at stuff for the day. 467.38. That's an intermediate rising channel bottom that was lower yesterday. It's actually performed pretty well in containing selling pressures the last few days. We slipped through it last Friday a bit. We did not test it on Monday, although we came very close to it. It's 467.38 today, right about where we settled. So this is kind of a pivot point right out of the gates on Tuesday's trade. If we open at or above it, we can quite easily today test the 470.65 high from about a week and a half ago. Those are the intraday containment levels, which I can show you here by looking at the support and resistance numbers for today. I'll zoom in a bit and show you 467.38, which I just showed you, that intermediate rising channel bottom, and 470.65, which was last week's high. We could trade inside that zone for a better part of the day. All of the minor points, by the way, are carefully chosen for aggressive day traders. But the more notable of the series of them are 467.38 downside and 470.65 upside, both of which also have pivot point quality. So, if we break or open today below 467.38, I think we'll likely test the 464.52 to 464.65 support, which is once again the rising channel bottom that you can see projected off the October low, the combination speed line and channel bottom at 464.52. That area able to contain weekly selling pressures, and above which we should, by the end of next week, retest 474.78, that long-term trend line. But as I mentioned a moment ago, closing below 464.52 would be an indication, for me anyway, that we have likely placed a good November high and should continue easing back over the weeks ahead. Upside today, if we push or open above 470.65, we just might test 474.78 today. That long-term trend line that we rallied to within 0.5% of last week. It can continue to contain weekly, quite possibly monthly buying pressures. Having tested it again last week, the market remains susceptible to falling back into later November and December trade. But if we do close above 474.78, that daily trend line, and just the opposite, I see the SPY then sort of aligning itself better with the Russell 2000 and the Dow, both of which put out meaningful long-term buy signals a couple of weeks ago without any appreciable follow-through yet to the upside. If we close above 474.78 in the S&P, I think you'd see more aggressive upside as we continue into later year. Overall, the next 3 to 5 month objective would be 522.22, which you can see as this long-term rising channel top. That formation, becomes a 3 to 5 month target and is able to contain annual buying pressures when tested. On the way up, I've been mentioning a 2 to 3 week buy signal above 474.78 at an intermediate channel structure that is presently 495.04. That formation can contain at least weekly, possibly monthly buying pressures when tested. From there, we could fall back to the 474.78 trend line within a matter of weeks, but closing above 495.04, that longer term target at 522.22 then becomes a 2 to 3 month objective. But these upside targets, they're not expected presently. They become so with a settlement above 474.78. I think that's really all that needs to be said. I'll leave you with the support and resistance levels for Tuesday, and you can print these off of your smartphone or your PC, whatever the case may be. Please click like and subscribe. Subscribing, once again, will have you notified each and every time the Daily SPY Report is uploaded and ready for your viewing. I think that's it for the day. I will talk to you tomorrow afternoon for Wednesday's Daily SPY Report.